We are live. Welcome back, everyone. Jaybone here for Smash This Podcast. To my left, we've got a Wild Bill in the house. We are doing a pro wrestling crate unboxing. We're going to talk a little GCW that my man Wild Bill was at earlier today, and then we'll kind of do a little Q&A and open it up to the floor. Let's kick this off. All right. So, just want to get your quick thoughts. We'll talk more about it later, but dude, how was that show on the beach at GCW, man?
It was a good show. I didn't really know, kind of getting into it, how it would be because of, like, I was at the backyard show with GCW, and right. I wasn't sure about the spacing and all, but they did a great job. I told you guys before, like they hit you with the sanitizer when you first come in, making sure, like the promoters, making sure everyone has a mask on. If you saw somebody take it down and not drinking or eating, he'd be going over and say, put it back on. So, and they spaced it out well. Like I was able to get like, and I actually got last second, somebody else that couldn't go. I took a seat from them, so I got in the front row there. But even like the second row was kind of spaced out, so it was really only like 3 or 4 rows, and then some GA. But it was this private part of the pier, like where people couldn't just mingle in, which was good. But cool. It was just show wise, it was a lot of names I hadn't seen yet, because obviously since they've come back from the pandemic in Indiana and stuff, they've been using some new talent, and they brought a lot of talent to this show, and impressive. Like obviously I've seen some of these guys not in GCW, but they were here, but like the AJ Grays of the world and stuff, like very, very impressive. But I saw Tankman at the 4th of July show, but he's impressive. A lot of good things. They're always kind of, they're kind of innovating when they're finding, like, obviously you have the Nick Gages, you have kind of like the Schlacks, the Jimmy Lloyds that are kind of the backbone of GCW. They're always doing a great job of adding new names into there that really mix in well. Like Alex Zane last year at the 4th of July show really made a name for himself in that match. And then obviously him and Blake Christian killed it again. Those guys could do some crazy stuff.
Oh, tremendous. Yeah, we'll get into more. We'll cut it down. I mean, I only saw like a very few highlights. I'll kind of give the floor to you to talk about. But we're going to do this first. We're going to unbox our pro wrestling crate. You just got yours.
I did. It was stuck in mail world. I was supposed to get it. I think we were talking about it in the middle of the week. I was supposed to get it, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. And then it was delayed a couple days. Hey, there's Trent.
We got a Trent over on the Twitch box.
Let's see. The seal of goodness. It's fresh in there. Fresh.
All right, so you haven't opened yours yet. I cheated a little. I was too excited the other day. I opened it up. But we'll pull out our I've got the T-shirts laid out in front of me.
All right. I will open the tape.
So I'll let you pull out things one by one.
All right.
And then I'll
yeah, you're kind of like the you're my Vanna White. You're gonna or you're one of Barker's beauties. We'll call you Jaybone's beauties.
Thank you so much. I'll take it.
Open in the box. Well, now we call him Robert Downey Jr. In case you guys missed the Thursday show. All right. The box is opening. All right, let's little tease. Ooh.
Not false advertising. His is fresh. Mine is day open.
So the official Making an Impact box.
Yes.
So do you want me to, before I go in it, do you want me to tease it what's on the card, or do you just want me to pull out one thing at a time?
You just pull out one thing at a time.
Because the card, I think, is a cheat sheet. It will tell you everything that's in there. But I'll start out with the first T-shirt on top.
All right.
And I like what I'm seeing already. I'm seeing La Huera Loca.
It's
Rosemary.
a beauty.
Oh, we got the whole roster. It looks like, or a good part of it.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, look at this.
It is a gorgeous.
That's nice.
A gorgeous shirt. Yes.
You know what this reminds me of, Jaybone? I don't know if it was the same for you, but me growing up, late 80s, early 90s, like the WWF and stuff, like their shirts would have like 8 guys on it and be like, oh yeah, man, I want the shirt that has like the Ultimate Warrior and Mr. Perfect.
Oh,
so
yeah.
This reminds me of those days.
Myers, the one Myers by me just came out, and I wore it like a week ago. My wife got it for me as a surprise.
Okay.
It was one of they always put out like the $10 WWF shirts. So it's ones that they've had around for a while, and then they send out to the stores if they can't sell them, I guess, or they just have a cheap deal with them or something. So I'm not paying $30 for a T-shirt at Myers. I'm paying $10. But yeah, mine has the WrestleMania. Is it 6?
Okay.
It's got Savage on it. It's got Ultimate Warrior. It's the one where Ultimate Warrior faced Hogan. Hogan's not on the front. It's weird. It's a weird shirt, but it's got all the classic guys on there. So yeah, it's similar to this. But yeah, this is just a great shirt. I'm not going to complain. You know.
Yeah, but I think I know who you're talking about. That's on there.
Yeah, I mean,
Tess is obviously in the works long before that.
Right. Yeah, it's Tessa's on there. She doesn't have the championship. It's just you know, but a lot of the knockouts are on there.
She mixes in there too, but you don't erase history with Impact. She was there.
No,
she's not the featured player.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and it kind of it's the Impact red, kind of like almost like the title belts, the Access TV, like so it all kind of goes together. But very nice. I like it. I'm a fan of this shirt.
Former tag champs, Moose is on there, one of your favorites. We got a bunch of half of these are knockouts. You got
a lot of knockouts. I'm impressed by the amount of knockouts.
Yeah, and they got Ty at the top with Rosemary. Rosemary's another fan favorite. Kira Hogan down there. Yeah, just a great Impact Wrestling shirt. Really,
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm gonna. Who knows? That could be Tuesday. That could be Tuesday's shirt.
I don't know. Wait till you see this next one. You might change your mind.
All right, I got a new shirt. Colors. Oh baby, get a load of this.
I know.
We got RVD. This is like a throwback almost looking shirt for RVD. He always had the coolest logos and colors.
Yeah, I don't know if you could see. Yeah, you could sell. Yeah. It's got the green. It's got the Mardi Gras colors, but it's
like a dragon. It's like one of the dragon. It reminds me of I have the TNA, like one of his early TNA ones with a dragon. It's like gold and yellow, and this reminds me of it. But this is like the face of the dragon.
It does have the little Impact logo there. But yeah, it's almost like two dragons because it's like a light side with the purple and then the dark green.
This is more so as opposed to just like an RVD shirt that'd be on the shop. This is a Impact version that I'm sure is just in this box only. So
it is.
As a big RVD fan from the early ECW days.
Oh, dude,
I am a fan of this shirt.
Yeah. Yeah,
this shirt is the whole effing show.
Oh, totally, dude.
Very cool, very cool.
Had I planned out my night a little better, I was originally planning on putting one of these shirts on Manny Bones.
Manny Bones.
I mean, he might
for Tuesday. He might have a shirt.
He might steal my knockout shirt. He might steal it.
Oh, now I didn't even notice. Were you wearing that shirt? Are you wearing the Impact shirt there?
I'm wearing the Hard to Kill.
I just saw the Impact logo. I'm like, I missed it.
I'm not that good. No,
I'm wearing the old. This is where Trent's familiar with this shirt. This is the I picked up one for myself and one for him when I went to Chicago for Bound for Glory. This is the Chicago flag, PWT's
Yes.
shirt.
Yes.
Figured might as well.
Paul likes the shirt.
The nice shirts. I'm liking them.
Yin and
It's all about
Yang
impact.
Dragon. Yes.
Yeah, Yang Yang Dragon.
The whole effing shirt. All right, what do we got next?
All right, next. Oh, I think we got what you were looking for, and this was teased. This was it's on the background right now.
Yeah.
The Tommy Dreamer Micro Brawler. Very cool.
This thing is
Thomas of the Dream.
sweet. Like, I didn't know, like, you never really know how big these are until you're holding one. Like, I thought it was like, I thought it was like bigger, like a Beanie Baby size, but no, this is this is
I know
cool.
Kyle shows his Lawera Loca one out, and this is cool. This is cool because I wasn't sure if they were more soft, like a stuffed animal, but they're actually hard.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a little flexible.
Yeah.
But it's
cool though. Tommy Dreamer wearing his I do like, and that's what I was interested to see if they put the Impact logo, but they don't because he's wearing the House of Hardcore shirt.
It's got the House of Hardcore
the
shirt.
Rhino, Tessa, and Taya has a little Impact logo, so I wasn't sure if this one would.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
But you know what? I think these are all special for the crate. They have that. My buddy Dave, who I go to a lot of shows with, sadly, he. Not Corona related, but he has some stomach problems today, so he did not make it to the show today. He's a big collector of these Micro Brawlers, so he almost has the whole set. He's missing like 5 of them.
This is my first one, and I love Tommy. I love Tommy, and
I've loved Tommy for years. Can't wait to have
it
comes back.
It will, and it's that's something near and dear to him.
Yeah, so, I'm sure. Like I think I was saying, I don't know if it was during one of the shows or watch along. There is one show in Philly still scheduled at the old ECW arena. It's MLW in December. If for some reason that's able to happen, I wouldn't be surprised if House of Hardcore. They usually had a December around Christmas date every year. That they do the same if that happens. All right.
Yeah, I'm hoping it comes back here because David Hero always brings Tommy in for the Blizzard Brawl, and that's usually November, December-ish. Yeah.
So I think that was probably the last time.
I was excited also for this because I wanted Tommy Dreamer versus Zombie. Zombie Ambrose. Is
that Zombie Ambrose? I know. I wasn't sure if that was Ambrose, if that was Hardy. I wasn't sure who that was.
Oh yeah, this is Zombie, and the package I had fell apart. It's the only figure I actually have that is unboxed, and his other part of his arm that comes off is somewhere, but he just hangs out. He's guarding the the old the beer can here.
There you go. He's got to protect it. See, it's funny when I was growing up. My wrestling figures are all unboxed. They're somewhere in the house. But I stopped collecting wrestling figures at like Hasbro, like the those type of ones, like the LJNs and then the Hasbros. But yet, I did collect some like Marvel and DC figures around the same time. But yet, I would leave them in the box. I don't know. Strange.
I hear you.
All right, so let's go next. I have a pin. Oh, and it's not just a Sammy pin. It's a U pin. So I think that's the first one of those bad boys. Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
Slick. Very cool. Yeah. Hopefully, it doesn't affect the show.
I know.
But when I ordered my my shirt, I upgraded the
the fabric.
The pet, the last order I did, not this, but the last one I did, and I'm just reminding people of some of the ones I got. I got a Luger. Which one is this? Oh, this is Perro's the Mall.
Okay.
Perro that passed away a few years ago, and then Marco Stunt. Looking like Simpsons, yeah. So I got those are the other ones I got. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna line them up here, something to display them eventually.
I feel him for poor Trent there because he loves the pin. because I know he was borderline on getting this box. I feel the regret through the keyboard right now, Trent.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's really good.
I'll say this though, knowing Mark, it's how I know it. There's some people that buy these boxes just for like one thing. I wouldn't be surprised if that pin or something else you won. Look on eBay. Good chance it's on there.
Oh
Because
yeah,
you might not be an ICU guy. You can probably get it for a couple bucks.
yeah. Somebody don't like Sammy out there.
Oh, yeah. Next, I think it's a magnet of the Impact.
Yeah, it's a magnet.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Impact
that'll go in the
Wrestling.
fridge. I'll go in the fridge.
Yep. That's gonna go. I got a little beer fridge in my office here. That's gonna go
nice,
there.
nice. I got what looks like a comic book.
Oh yeah,
Featuring
this
La Loca.
is awesome. I have not opened this up yet, but
Yeah, let's take a look. Here, I'll do it for you, the viewing public.
go ahead. It's Agent Loca versus Subterranean Cave Trolls, and it's got the real classic looking, almost like a James Bond type classic 60s print.
Very
you
cool.
know. Headlock, Tales from the Road.
Loca taking you out. Bang.
Yeah, that's the back.
Oh, very nice.
So
you don't mess with Loera Loca.
Like I've seen these before, like online, but I've never.
Seen this. Speaking of GCW, this Headlock Comics, who they're working with here, looks like Headlock. Yeah. Or is that who they're working with? Yeah, Headlock Comic. Yeah, they do a lot of like special variant posters for the shows that look like comic books. So it's in that same vein. So that makes sense. Very cool.
Yeah, but I love Taya. That's a pretty special thing. So it's like if she ever comes to town, I'm gonna get this autographed. I
agree. You know what? That's a good reminder. When Impact comes back, I will try to remember to bring this with me to a show.
Absolutely.
All right. So now I think we're into the autograph.
Last but certainly not least.
Let's take a look on the bottom here.
Very happy.
The bottom of the unboxing comes in a little sleeve, little envelope. And we got, let's open it up. It's War Machine Rhino.
War Machine, yes. Rhino.
Look at that guy. He ain't messing around.
I know. It's like it's so I've got 2012 Rhino from Ring of Honor, and now I've got 2020 Rhino from Impact Wrestling.
Very nice.
I know. I tell you what, dude. You meet this guy. This dude is still intimidating. I don't care what you say. I don't care what anybody says about. Oh, it's just a bunch of ECW throwaways. No, dude. This dude will still spear you out of your boots.
I got a tag partner, and he's got kids. Coming for you. We're coming for you.
So that is the unboxing of the July Making an Impact crate. What are your I was super happy about this. What did you think, dude?
I like it. Like Rhino, that's great because I think they teased a lot of the names. If you pay closer attention to these things, I did not. But the Sammy pin is really cool. The Tommy Dreamer little figure. The two shirts are great. I am beyond ecstatic with those two shirts. A collage of the roster and an RVD custom. Those are great shirts.
Yeah, you pay just $60 for the two shirts. I mean, for
for the shirts, it's like we got everything else for free.
Yeah,
like no doubt about it. Beyond that, so very very happy with this box. Obviously, I'm biased with Impact because I know a lot of the other boxes might have focuses on other companies or promotions. Not that
all sorts
because they have their own stuff, but indies and that company down south.
Yeah.
There's just the review on everything that we got from the card.
Yep.
So the collage, the dragon, the brawler, the tie comic, Rhino autograph, Sammy pin, magnet.
My wife is partial to dragons, so when I pulled out the RVD dragon shirt, she was like, her eyes got real wide.
So
and I'm
Jaybone
like,
may have lost that shirt.
I told her, I'm like, you want to borrow this shirt, don't you? She's like, no. I'm like, don't lie. I'm not that selfish of a husband that I'm not gonna borrow a cool dragon shirt to my wife. So yeah, my wife may model that someday, and I'll share that online. So
Zach's asking what the next month's theme is. I did see something about it. I don't know if it necessarily had a theme. Like it always has a theme, but I know there was some AEW guys.
I think it said August.
That was the theme. The August theme.
July, the month of July in general was shit. So now August is coming up. Oh no, not August. Yes, August. So yeah, there you go. Tremendous crate. I was going to keep my subscription. Unfortunately, I've got other personal things going on in the household, and I canceled my subscription. That may sound shitty, but I'm an Impact fan, and I will absolutely get it back someday. And I even wrote that in the thing where you say, well, why did you cancel? No, it's like I told them. I said, you guys didn't do anything wrong. It's me. It's I got stuff going on, but because I got a feeling I know who they're going to be featuring in future months. So yeah, towards the end of summer, I might get it again.
I'll tell you, and just as a heads up on this is who's going to be featured in next month's. It looks like Matt Hardy, Walter, Colt Cabana, Billy Gunn and his son, Honky Tonk Man, Sergeant Slaughter, and then I'm not sure if they're a group. You probably know this better than me, Jaybone, but it looks like it's a grouping of MJF, Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander, and Penelope Ford, or they just picked 4 random AEW people. I don't know if that's
there's a DVD
of some kind.
There's a DVD in this box, and it features a bunch of current hot indie stars before they got hot.
Okay.
So I think that's what that grouping is, actually.
Okay.
Trent says, what did it cost? It was between, with shipping and handling and everything. I think if you didn't get, like, there's a lot of different ways you could do it. You can pay for a year outright.
And that's where you get it the cheapest. You get a discount on, like, if you have that year-long subscription, but because they were doing one of those sales that you can get TNI merch on PWTs when they have these sales as well.
Right,
Like there was a 20% discount, I think, off a 1-month box.
Your first one,
Yeah. So normally it winds up being with shipping and all like $30-ish, just over $30-ish.
Yeah.
I think. It's like $24 if you get the deal, like $23.95, but then like it's like $7 shipping. So it's like 30 and then tax. So like $31, $33, something like that.
So you can pay for it monthly. You can outright pay for a year, which is several hundred at once. I don't know how many people actually do that. I'm sure some people do. I just got the 1 month, and then I was going to pay for just each one individually, but I had to cancel.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've been looking at it like during this whole pandemic, not going to shows and buying merch. I did like two of the PWT deals that I've been showing a lot of the shirts off during the show because I haven't even worn them yet. Because I'm like, that's my way to kind of do some support for the talent that can't get out there and earn anything. So, and then same thing with this box. It was kind of the same thinking.
Oh yeah, and I've always been curious. As I've seen unboxings before, and I really impressed with the content and the quality and the fact that we love Impact Wrestling, and I was like, ooh, yeah, absolutely, I'm absolutely good. Now I know there were some like trade out things. I think.
I think there was
supposed to be a Joey Ryan or an
there was
Elgin.
Supposed to be something Joey Ryan related. Obviously Elgin was out on the shirt, so he was on that gut. So I'm not sure if he was one of the other items there. If it was an 8x10, a pin, a shirt, but somebody had to get thrown out.
Right. So, but I was still very satisfied with what I got because just the shirts itself was a tremendous quality. They're nice and soft. So, all right. So that's it for the unboxing. I kind of want to dive into where you just came from. I don't know how many people watch GCW. That's Game Changer Wrestling. They've got a twofer this weekend. They actually had a Fight TV twofer. Night one was tonight. Night two is tomorrow. And where was this? I'm just going to give the floor to you and just talk about your experience and some of the matches and stuff.
This was down in Atlantic City. So GCW's played Atlantic City quite a few times, normally at the Showboat, now just a hotel, former casino. But obviously with all the precautions right now, not really doing indoor events. So they actually put it on a private pier between the Showboat and the Ocean Resort, which was like a big palatial one that went out of business a year after building it. So then they had to reopen it. But so that was the space we're talking about. So it was like the Garden Pier, I think it's called. So I wound up getting there just a little bit before showtime because it was kind of a last minute thing. I was going to day 2 tomorrow, but something fell through, so I wound up going to day 1 as well. So it worked out well. But got down there, and like I said, when they did the 4th of July earlier, they do a great job of walking the door. I got a temperature check. They used a gun for a temperature check. Then they did scored you a hand sanitizer, and then the spacing was very well done. Because they sold them in groups of single tickets, 2 tickets, and 4 tickets. And then they spaced out like 6 feet each of those seats. And even like if you're in the second row, it was like in those spaces of those other rows. So and it went maybe about 3 or 4 deep. And then there was some like general admission kind of around, but they was sectioned off, not a lot of people going through. So safety, all well done. Then just the show itself. I wasn't sure on a pier what to expect. I've been to pretty much all the GCW shows in this area for a couple of years. And obviously that's something where you can have death matches. So you're talking light tubes, plate glass, all kinds of stuff like that. I'm like, will they do that on the boardwalk? Because I went to an ICW show a couple weeks ago with who Alicia from TNI was also at that show. Nice. And they went there, but they were like in a parking lot. They didn't get away with anything. Here, I thought they might not be able to, but they did. They went all out on here. I had some glass fly on me and stuff, so that's part of the experience. Luckily, did not get any that I know of. Usually, I'm quick enough for reflexes, but
you knew it was coming.
Yeah, you have an idea. You see spots set up. You know kind of when to be alert. If you're not. Like if you're a first comer to a show like that, you almost want to talk to the other people around you, just get a lay of the land because you could have something bad happen to you if you're not paying attention.
Maybe not get front row.
Maybe not. Maybe you're right. Like you know me, I love the front row, but that might be something you kind of just get your foot in the door, check it out from the back, and work your way up. You act like Kyle. You're the scumbag in the back.
For sure.
as Kyle. But just looking at quality of the card, like I honestly didn't know some of the people on the card, so I was pleasantly surprised. It's always a pleasant surprise when I haven't seen somebody, because obviously in the Northeast you see a lot of the same talent over and over, which is great. But there was some people from like kind of the Midwest that I had not seen, so that was a pleasant experience. They all were pretty impressive. Started out with a scramble match. Had like Alley Cat in there. She does a lot of the shows. Jimmy Lloyd, but kind of that was the centerpiece for. I believe he also signed an MLW contract as Tankman, Calvin Tankman.
Wow!
And he was pretty. He's a big guy. Almost looks like he could be the 3rd member of Team Triple XL. Like he's a big dude, but he can get out there. He did like a dive off out of the ring. So and then I didn't catch the name. There was a guy, I think he was a European guy, and he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Like he was flipping all over the place. That guy was a aerial acrobat, so that he was impressive.
Nice.
but definitely a good showcase match there. The order I'm going to mix up because I like. I said,
that's
all fresh
okay.
in my
There's
head.
just a couple highlights I'm looking at here. Real quick clip videos from wrestling with unicorns.
Yes, they were right in front of me there filming. But you had Nate Webb, Spider Nate Webb, against Effie. They had a fun little match there. Always rocking out the Wheatus on the entrance for Nate Webb. I enjoy that. Little teenage dirtbag. But I know he's getting over lately because he has a cooking show on that IWTV that everyone watches. But he's got a Jaybone look. He always has the bandana. But Effie came out on top of that in that one. Let's see what else we got there. We had ACH, former Impact, just for I think the Super X Cup. He didn't have a
he was just in there for
me and Trent saw him. Me, Trent, and Nurse Nicole were at the show he was on. Yeah. But ACH against Trey Lamar, that was an impressive match. Both of them. Like I think anybody who saw ACH in Ring of Honor, WWE, the talent that ACH has. He's a talented guy.
He always brings it. Yes, absolutely. I became a fan of his in Evolve.
Okay, yeah, and Evolve as well. Yeah, he's kind of worked all the territories. So he was impressive. Let's see what else we had here. I'm trying to think of like the all pre-intermission matches. Next we had Alex Zane versus Blake Christian. I've seen them go before. Those guys both are crazy athletic. I believe we saw both of them at Prelude to Glory. At least Alex Zane was on there.
Yeah,
I remember
Alex
Blake
Zane
Christian was on there too. But
that was my intro. Yeah, that was my introduction to Alex Zane, and now he even does some stateside Ring of Honor shows.
He does.
Or is it Ring of Honor or is it New Japan?
I think he's doing some stuff in New Japan like TJP is.
New
Japan, he was working some of their U.S. dates, but he's also worked some Ring of Honor dates, Alex Zane.
Yeah.
Like Alex Zane, he's going to be signed, I think, to a promotion probably by the end of this year, I would think. That guy's too talented.
I think, just that he really impressed me. I met him at the All Glory. Tremendous first match. I can't remember who was all in that match, but he really stood out. Yeah. There was Chris Dickinson versus
Chris Dickinson went up against Chris Dickinson, because that one was some violence in there.
Oh, Mance Warner.
Mance. Oh, yeah. How can we forget Mance?
I saw just a brief clip of it online, so I was.
Yeah, Dickinson went on top in that one, but Mance is always impressive. Love Mance Warner. And Dickinson, that's a guy that I think I first started seeing him. Maybe I know he works some Tommy shows, but he's obviously a Northeast guy, and he's always impressive too. Like he does a very stiff style. So yeah, I think that was most of the first half of the card.
I'm waiting for Impact to snatch up Chris Dickinson because he actually worked that Impact AAA show last year.
Yes. The Impact AAA show. I was there. I was not in the front row for that. But I was there for it.
I'm crossing my fingers that it happens someday because Chris Dickinson is way. I always kind of looked at him like a slightly smaller Goldberg.
He's got that intensity. Like
he's got the intent very much for people that are like, oh, Goldberg is a horrible wrestler. No. Don't take it like that. This Chris Dickinson is an incredible ground-based wrestler, technical guy, so damn good. I'm just talking about looks and intensity.
Yeah. And he's got that like that's a guy that could beat you up, guy. Like he's not just playing a part. He's a tough looking dude.
he was tag champs when a few years ago with oh god, I can't remember. He was in a
Jaka in Evolve.
Yes. Yeah, they were a great tag team together. So good.
Yeah, so I think another one that kind of, because technically there wasn't an intermission, there was just some time to like kind of clean the ring. There was a death match with AJ Gray and Alex Colon.
Okay.
And that was, and I hadn't seen it. I get the impression based on the promo that Alex Colon cut after the match that AJ Gray really doesn't do death matches. But he did not look out of place because that's a whole different style. That's a whole different mentality, the death match. And
it is.
It's like, and I'm like, I've seen AJ Gray a handful of times, but nothing in anything like this. So this was kind of a surprise. But Alex Colon, he's like, he won their last Tournament of Survival, which they announced for August. That was supposed to be in June, but obviously all those dates got pushed back. But he won the last one, so this is one of the better deathmatch wrestlers out there. And no, it was impressive because they had some spots like right in front of me, and it wasn't just like kind of like the bleed, like the cut bleed. It was like the pour. It was like not a Ric Flair Crimson Mask. It was a pouring mask.
Oh my God! Somebody get a mop! Somebody get a mop!
So yeah, there was some of that going on, but Alex Colon went over here, but some crazy spots to end it. Like they used everything. They brought out like another door kind of setup with light bulbs and glass, and went through that. So Colon got the win, but then put over AJ. So good to see. Nice. Another good match, good exciting match. Then let's see. I think as we get into the second half. There was, just make sure I'm not missing out. There was Nick Gage versus Schlack. And then we got some interference by, you may have seen on Impact Wrestling TV for sure. I know you have. Trey Miguel wearing a Ricky Shane Page shirt. Who we'll talk about that was involved later in this show. But he has like kind of a faction of Ohio-based wrestlers. And they're obviously the heel, but they're the big heel faction in GCW.
Yeah.
Ricky Shane Page is the champion, but it was almost like he stole the title off of Nick Gage. So Nick Gage versus Schlack, they start interfering, and then they really at first they're trying to almost make it help like Nick Gage win, but they're just causing trouble. And then Schlack does get the win here, but then so. We'll see how that plays out later. But then there was Joey Janela versus the whole wrestling a broomstick. It's wrestling a doll from Japan. A very infamous doll from Japan. So this one obviously is putting a lot on that wrestler because they're the ones they're working by themselves. Like if you've seen GCW, they've done Invisible Man matches, things like that. It's in that same vein. So didn't
Kenny Omega do that like a few years ago?
Yeah, he's one of the ones. There's big names that have worked this angle in Japan, so it's not totally unfounded, but it is something. If you're a wrestling traditionalist, you're gonna have some trouble with this one because this is like suspending disbelief. Joey
Janela is out to just have a good time. It's someone you shouldn't never take too seriously. I mean,
so if you went in this with almost zero expectations, you were probably pleasantly surprised. If you had expectations, depending, they may have been met or not. But no, there were some good spots. He came out with like a handler to kind of throw him in the ring and kind of not have Joey force everything. Like there was a couple funny things. Like there was like a ladder spot where the doll goes on the Joey, and then he broke the table himself. So you have the music spots like that to make sure it works. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of clips online because that's almost like a viral social marketing thing is a match like that.
I've got the one here I'm looking at the Facebook, and he did what looks like a suplex, and then he landed the suplex and then like rolled through it and threw him out of the ring.
Right by me.
The ring. Yeah, like right just
over
past
my head.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good spot. There was one where there was like 10 German suplexes in a row. That's pretty much Joey German suplexing himself. So that was very entertaining. So you had that, but obviously the big Joey wins, and that the doll which I can't remember the name right now, had a title
it
in
was
DDT Pro Wrestling.
It's
Ironman. Yeah.
Yoshihiko.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very good Sting. That's why you're here.
If I mispronounce that, I apologize, but I'm pretty
because
sure
it was like kind of like a
close.
Yoshihiko, like something like that.
Right.
But that was a belt holder in DDT. I think the Iron Man. So Joey was new champion. Then he kind of calls out until he can go over to Japan to show he's the best wrestler in Japan. He'll take on all challengers. So then we see that figure with the black mask that was handling the doll during the match comes back out. Joey doesn't see yet, and we get a mask reveal. And I think at first some people in the audience knew. I think it kind of broke out already, but you get a reveal, and it's the man formerly known as Leo Rush makes an appearance, which I know you've been talking about it. We've been talking about it. Part of the Impact promos going into Slammiversary.
Yeah.
Then he broke the news about he was retiring, but it was more like an album name. So he's not really retiring. Maybe just retiring that name was kind of the whole angle there. But now you can take this a lot of different ways because it's GCW. It's kind of like it's pretty much an indie. But he's working with Joey Janela, who's an AEW guy. I don't know if they're going to try to play up that angle, like he might appear there. I don't know if he's still kind of free agent, but there definitely is some AEW connection in GCW. So
yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't jump on that train yet. But that he was working with Joey, there's at least a little bit there. There's a little smoke there. I
didn't get any spoilers from Basil the other night doing the AEW thing, but I talked
one of those guys. Could he be one of those guys that show up for a one-off?
Maybe. I think it's absolutely possible.
Yeah. I think if you didn't think it was possible, now I think tonight throws that as a possibility.
And what he does to Joey,
play a part tomorrow when I'm at the show tomorrow, because I'll be coming into the Sunday review fresh off of this again. So
I can't wait. Oh man, I can't wait to see the clips from that. I don't know how much are these like individually. I'm just curious. These go on Fight TV. Like,
I'm not sure. I know they did that combo package, and it didn't seem. I don't think it was a lot. Maybe for both shows, like I don't think it averaged more than $10 a show if you got both. Maybe less.
Okay, if you get both, wait. The weekend pack is $19.99.
Yeah, $20.
That's not bad. The one,
$10 a show. Not sure if you can buy it as one though.
Oops, that's the poster. I don't want that. I'm just seeing if. There it is. All right, part one. Oh, that's part one. Where's part two? Homecoming weekend. Is that what it is?
Yeah, homecoming weekend. Yeah, part one and part two.
Okay. Oh, individually they're $13.99. All right, so you're actually getting a pretty good deal if you get them both for $19.99. That's not bad. And from the clips I saw, it's absolutely worth your money. And a lot of these guys are going to get featured on the next show. It looks like. Homicide looks like he's going to be in there. He's on the poster.
Yeah, and Homicide, pretty much that was that the main event? Yeah, that was definitely the main event. I don't think I missed anything else because it went from that to the main event, which was Homicide versus Ricky Shane Page for the GCW title.
Yeah.
Homicide looks good here, but then it wound up resulting in all his guys from Ohio interfering in the match.
Yeah.
Ricky Shane retaining, but then like Schlack coming out, Nick Gage coming out, setting up a match for tomorrow, where it's going to be if any member of Nick Gage's team pins any member of Ricky Shane's team, he gets another title shot. If they lose, Nick Gage has to retire.
Oh, that's intense. Well, he's been around a while too.
He has been around a while, but he's kind of had a renaissance these last like 2 years. Like on the indie scene, he's about an over an act as there is. So I think he's getting a title shot. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, if that's like the main, premise going into it with all the other little sub things going on, yeah, he's probably going to be part of the main event. So that's absolutely something to look forward to if you're a fan of his. That's why, I was going to shave and everything tonight, but then I was like, I saw a clip of the main event where he came out and he put over, obviously, the Icon Homicide and said the stipulation going into tomorrow, and I was like, ooh, that Nick Gage look. Yeah, I'm not shaving tonight.
Doing it for Nick. Because it's MDK.
I don't know the line. I heard it there. I apologize. I'm not that big of I'm not that hardcore of a.
Okay.
I apologize.
Yeah, I'm a hardcore Nick guy. So
all right, you can say the line. I'll screw it up.
No, it's pretty simple. I'm just waiting for. I thought somebody in the chat. I don't know if they were Nick Gagers, but it's pretty much
okay.
MDK all fucking day.
Okay, got it. I'm sure someone in the chat will come up with it. Oh, Critical Sting, it says murder, death, kill, right?
Yeah, that's MDK, murder, death, kill. Yeah.
Oh, is that what it stands? Oh, okay.
Yeah, gang affiliated.
So I'm just gonna nod my head.
That is correct.
I'm not that tough. So yeah. So thank you, Bill, for the highlights on that. I was actually really curious to see your thoughts on. Look, we're just getting back into the indie scene of wrestling, kind of slowly opening up to the public now, and it's it's scary. I mean, there's obviously some areas out there that are not as bad as others. What time is that show tomorrow?
It's 5 Eastern, so before Central. I think it went on because they didn't start at 5. So maybe it started maybe they had like some video packager going if you were watching on TV.
Okay.
Maybe about quarter after. So maybe about 4:10, 4:15. It'll probably go live your time. 5:10, 5:15.
Okay. It looks like you're earning a new nickname on the podcasting scene. And by the way, this is Bill's first appearance on Smash This Podcast.
It is.
I didn't mention that earlier, so my apologies. Booker Bill, we've tried incorporating the Wild Bill, but looks like Booker Bill is starting to become a thing because Bill likes to occasionally fantasy book things on TNI over on the other little podcast. Occasionally.
I think we all like the fantasy book things.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes we will do a show like before Slammiversary. I think that's where that got started on the Slammiversary prediction show.
We all went a little crazy with that one. And I don't usually get that crazy. I'm usually this guy wins, this guy loses.
And usually you don't. But this one, we knew the world would change. I was expecting some kind of crazy booking, and then I thought it was the right way to go. Right, like as soon as we were watching Slammiversary, it's like you gotta have Motor City take those belts on the follow-up TV show. Like for an instance, and I'll give credit where it's due, and I think it does make sense at times. Like when WWE would have like WrestleMania, and then like a major title wouldn't change hands, but it would change on the Raw afterwards.
Yeah.
I think that's good booking for the TV audience because that's where you have all your eyes right after your big pay-per-view. Everybody's watching to see what would happen. You give it away for free to keep them watching the next week. That's TV. That makes sense.
Right.
So I think that's why, like I said, Sammy won it from Cage in Windsor on the debut on Access. So it makes sense when you get those eyes. You want to have a big event to then go, you know what? I'm going to watch next week too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's smart. It's smart to do that. That's just, you want to leave breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Some people were like, well, why didn't they do more at Slammiversary? Because you can't do it all at Slammiversary.
Yeah, you had multiple title changes already. It's because you were crowning a new world champion. You crowned a new X Division champion.
Oh yeah.
How many titles you want to crown?
Yeah. It was really well done, and you want to save some kind of, ooh, I wonder what's going to happen with this now. So you want them to come back for TV. You want to draw them back in, not just okay, that's it. Now we're just go back to our regularly scheduled program. No, that's
No,
no.
and
No,
that's the thing. Now that they got people interested, it's like
they're like completely shooting themselves in the foot doing that every single time.
yeah, because that's the thing. You don't want to get. Although I'm not going to say that doesn't happen because everybody it's the biggest promotions in the world get lazy with writing, and that's the risk. Like that's why I always like when Impact used to have or more TNA 6-7 day taping cycles. When you're at the end of that cycle, day 6, day 7, that's tough to keep it really the quality of product you want to. So smarter 2 to 3 day tapings, perfect.
Yeah, and that's what Impact did with this last one. And I was actually shocked when I was talking to Basil. They actually did a month and a half of shows. They did 3 days, three episodes a day, 2 days.
Yeah,
so they got
without an audience, you don't have to worry about burning them out. It's great.
No, I mean, depending on who's doing what, but yeah.
But they're like, if they were taping down in like Florida, for instance, if you did, and they sometimes did a matinee taping followed by an evening taping, those crowds were shot, or they didn't show up to one of the shows. Usually the matinee. But there was only a few diehards that could keep it up for that amount of shows. Not many.
Well, yeah, it's like I did. I did a 5-hour MLW show last summer. That was
man.
That was a blast. But by the time it got to be between 10, 11 o'clock at night, that was rough. That was rough. I mean,
and that's
the
where
crowd
you're
really
going to lose some of the crowd by going that long. And it's like there will be some that can do it, but it's tough. That's a risk you take when you film like that. So without an audience, you don't got to worry about it.
Yeah. So, all right. There was this one thing I saw there was a couple of things I saw online, but I don't want this to drag out because we're almost going into an hour already. And then we'll turn it over to the folks for a Q&A. I'm sure the chatters will bring a few questions here and there. I saw something funny, and I found this by accident. Sue Young put out a telephone number. And I was
hotline?
No, it was like it's a 630 area code.
Okay.
And I called it, and it said Illinois, and I was like, okay.
Were you calling Trent?
No, it's not Trent. I just no. It's, and if you go into the thread of the post, you see that it's Creepypasta Wiki. And you click on this post and you read like exactly what it is. And it's a weird number, and the message comes up. I'm not going to call it again because I already called it, and I'm scared to death of what actually is, if someone's actually going to call me back for this. If somebody calls me while I'm live, I'll put it live and we'll just have some fun with it. But I doubt it's going to happen. You get a message saying that they're from what is it here? It's what the hell? It's bottles something. It's a weird. You get a message, and then I didn't. Here, Booth World Industries.
Okay.
And it says, we have your number on file, and we'll call you whatever. It sounds like you're going to get a return phone call.
Okay.
Now, whether I get a return phone call or not, I don't know. This was like the original thread of this that I saw online is from
Sue Young is telling people to call this number.
Yeah. And it's weird. It's really weird. It's one of those like little cult things you find out of the blue. You know,
Okay.
so it's like, okay, well, I'll call this, and if anything happens, I'll give an update on it. But
I gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, call at your own risk. I don't know what's going to happen with this.
Call at your own risk. Now, Jaybone, I know you're saying earlier, if we want people to possibly call me Wild Bill, should Wild Bill dial this number right now live on Smash's podcast? See what happens?
You because I already called it, so my name's already, or my number's already on file for a return phone call. Okay. You put your thing on speaker so that people can get an example of.
All right. Let's see. Hold on here. What was the number? 610? No, not 610.
It's 630.
Hold on.
296 7536.
Okay. Let's do a little test here. See if they only have business hours.
You have reached Booth World Industries. Your number has been logged and traced. A service representative will be with you shortly for remodeling.
Oh,
We at
remodeling.
Booth World Industries say thanks. You have a marvelous day.
So it was a little creepy. A little creepy. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's very creepy. So so if you go to this link, you know, and there's an entire conversation that gets played out for someone that actually did it.
Okay.
And it's it's very, no, it's not Kyle's place. That's hilarious though, Zach. That's too funny. But yeah, the entire conversation is at the link in the thread of Sue Young's post. Okay, so you can go to that link and you can see exactly how that conversation went. It's creepy, mildly terrifying, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, because it almost sounds like a home remodeler, but it just has a little bit of an interesting way of going about it.
You gotta go to the just go to Sue Young's thread,
check it out
underneath the number, and then go to that link and then see the conversation. I'm not going to read the whole thing online. You got to just go there yourself, read the conversation that took place, and then you can see exactly what she's recommending you do, because it's very, very, very cult, kind of interesting, creepy stuff. So just wanted to put that out there. All right, so now I want to turn it over to the chat. We're just coming up on an hour here, and we'll take some questions, we'll have some discussion, and then we'll get out of here. We don't want to keep Bill too late tonight. The Jaybone hotline. No, it's not the Jaybone
hotline.
Funny you say that, though. I used to, this is back when we used to have answering machines before voicemail and stuff. I actually used to have a very interesting answering machine. It was hi, you've reached Jason. Press 1 for naughty talk with Jason. It was like,
please tell me there's a recording somewhere that we can resurface of this.
No, this is on an old. This is back when you used to put the little tape in the tape thing. Yeah. No, I
thought you were going to tell me there was one, because I think they had hotlines back then where you could almost have celebrities do it. So it'd be like, oh yeah, brother, you reached Jaybone here.
You've reached the Jaybone hotline. Ooh, yeah. No, I was not that creative back in the day. I was more naughty than anything. So
more naughty.
Press 1 for hot talk with Jason.
He is 18.
Yeah. I was legal.
Children get permission first.
I didn't do this in high school and get all creepy and no. How do you think I passed all my classes? No, I'm kidding. No, that got weird. All right, I saw a question here earlier. I know I got a message from someone earlier saying, "Hey, we got stuff to talk about tonight." And I was like, "All right."
They got stuff. They got questions.
All right, here we go. Terrence Sullivan. Booker Bill, do you think Impact will do a virtual celebration for Bound for Glory?
I think if there is no fans, which we will assume yes right now, that they will once again do the same thing. I think they'll do a celebration again. I think for the big pay-per-views, as long as there isn't a avenue to do something, I think Impact will continue to do something like they did before. Because I don't know any of the details. Like, it seemed like there was a lot of people there. I think they had 100 spots. I don't know if they sold all 100, but I got to imagine they at least got half of that, if not more. So I would see no reason not to do it again.
I wouldn't be surprised if they sold them out and or took more because, I mean,
they could have, because at least through because it was through Zoom. So I couldn't really see exactly, like, I could see people that were going on video, people that were in the chat, but I think a lot of people were just watching, like kind of just watching, taking it all in. So I have no clue how many people were doing that. But yeah, I think you could be right, because it was easy enough. If I were them, I would have kept selling them too.
Just Hakeem's all fired up. He says, press 2 for lollipops, press 3 for bones, Manny Bones. Press 4 for Jiminy Christmas.
There you go.
And then press 5 for Sassy Jaybone.
Oh,
Zach Bonifer is just out of control. Dude. Says you've reached Trent's partial nude remodeling or partial nude modeling. That's Trent.
What do you mean, Trenty Forbes?
Trenty Forbes nude. How about nude remodeling? He's Trent. You've been doing the painting. Maybe. Yeah,
he's like one of those painters or the movers guys, like hunks removing junk. It's
while showing their junk. All right. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. All right, question for Jaybo. The EC3 versus Moose story makes sense. Remember when Moose was the one, he got EC3 fired when EC3 was TNA Impact Grand Champion. Oh, was that EC3's last match? Was that a thing where he
well, because he got
that goes back 3 or 4 years. That's a little fuzzy.
He got the briefcase.
The briefcase.
But there was the Grand Champion storyline. It'll be interesting if they do rehash the Grand Champion storyline at any point, because it's been forgotten in the Impact history. Because like they always act like Moose never had a belt in Impact, but he had the Grand Championship belt.
Right, yeah, and then that one got when who was it? Oh, Aries had it, and it got combined with the Impact Championship.
Correct.
And that was just like a safe way to
just get rid of it.
Get rid of
the Billy Corgan experiment was pretty much what it was.
Yeah. And I wasn't a fan with it, I'll be honest, because
I understand the concept, but the execution wasn't there, because like they had like random judges that didn't really make any sense, and like they never even acted like they were judging the match. Like they just sat there and didn't really do anything.
Right, they just had paperwork there, and it was just
Well, like you throw me like Mike Tenay as a judge, I'm buying it.
Oh, absolutely! Bring him back, and people be like, "Oh, what's Tenay gonna do?" All right, Brother Bill, who do you want to see face Motor City Machine Guns? I would like the Ascension debut, aka now called The Awakening.
I would say, I think the whole reason you give the belts to the Machine Guns is to now help put over the tag teams you already have in Impact. So I'm looking, like, obviously the Rascals had the match at Slammiversary. I don't give them that immediate chance, although they have a claim to go after the belts based on that match. Because I almost want to build up to the Rascals. So maybe TJ and Fala get a match with them. Maybe Triple XL. Maybe the Deaners. I'd love to see the Deaners get a shot with Motor City. Because I think you're gonna have it go to a place in a couple weeks of TV on the road to Bound for Glory, where you're going to get all the big tag teams together, which I'll say is the top 4 right now. Where you're going to have Motor City, you're going to have the North, you're going to have the Rascals, and you're going to have the Good Brothers as like the top of the tag team division. But I'd like to give a little rub to those other teams before doing that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, real quick. I saw this earlier today. Very sad. Rest in peace, Regis Philbin.
Yeah.
Face on TV that defined morning television. I mean, I know he did some other stuff later after his morning television gig was done.
The guy, he started with Joey Bishop in the late 60s. The guy was an icon. And
wow.
And you can't even say this phrase without doing your Regis impression. Is that your final answer?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what he did later in his career. And then I don't even know what he did. I think he kind of quietly went.
He kind of quietly retired, but it sounded like it wasn't like his choice. I think he would have kept on working. Like about 2011 or so.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I saw a lot of people.
But still some great guest spots with like Howard Stern and David Letterman. Like he would still show up from time to time. I think he showed up on Fallon, like the late night guys, Jimmy Kimmel. Like he would make appearances. They'd be like, Regis, why don't we see you no more? And he's like, no one's calling.
Yeah.
He had a great way about him, because obviously people doing podcasts, people on radio, people on TV, like that. That's one of the legends right there. That's a guy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely is. Yeah, I mean, I know him for Regis and Kathy.
Yeah, that was his big. That's kind of where. And you look at it, for him to go from Kathy, and they had the live show, then for Kelly Ripa to come in and him still to have like that big show with a new co-partner, that's saying something where we're really how high he could get shows just really based on him.
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's sad. All right, let's see what else we got here.
What's in the case? Hold on. I gotta see. Gotta see if I remember the password.
I would have Goldilocks come and interview the heels at Bound for Glory, and have me and Gia Miller interview the faces at Bound for Glory. Oh, that's funny. I like that.
Oh, me and Gia Miller.
Yeah, guys, and I know I don't get as many views here as TNI does, but please, if you're here and you missed it, and not everybody goes to the throwback, guys, seriously, we have so much fun on the throwback, and this last throwback we did over on TNI a few days ago was even more special. We had Goldilocks from the classic NWA TNA days. Trent, Bill, myself interviewed her for almost an hour and a half. It was probably the craziest, most brutally honest interview I am ever going to do in my entire life. This woman made me blush about as red as my headband. I'm not shitting you. She compared me to, I'm never going to live this down. Like, I'm afraid to show this interview to my wife. If she's looking now, she's going to be like, oh, I'm going to watch now. But I'm afraid to show it to my wife, because I'm like, oh my God, it's so, she's so like not afraid to say anything, so brutally uncensored. It was really good. It just like really, you expect one thing, and then you're like, whoa. I mean, she really blew us away with her honesty, and just didn't give a crap about offending anyone or going over the top with an answer or anything. Talked about the good old days, talked about what she's up to lately. Please, folks, spare an hour and a half, 2 hours out of your day, give this a view. And there's some great bonus stuff in there as well. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, that's funny. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, no. And I know a couple of I think some of the viewers that are in the chat right now, I think they retweeted it and copied like Scott Demore in on it. So we appreciate that, because I think obviously we were talking a lot about the TNA nostalgia. I think it's a great opportunity to look back at those originals, like a Goldilocks, like to kind of just play off some of these angles would be a great thing. I think there's a lot of fans clamoring for that.
Yeah.
So I know there was a question asked, what's in the box? What was in the case?
Oh, yeah. Show us that, and then we'll get into the next question. I was just looking for the next one.
There was actually two things in the case. One is an X Division title shot.
Oh, you've got an X Division title shot?
I'm going for it, Jaybone.
Oh, my God.
It might be Saturn Bay or Sun Bay, wherever you're at. I'm coming for you, Chris. Sadly, the second one would be fired.
Oh, they actually had that in there. That's awesome.
So that is, I can, depending on my mood, I can either be fired or have an X Division title shot.
Oof. Oof. That's crazy. All right, let's see what's
back in the case.
Back in the case. Hakeem asks, have you ever heard the story that's been blowing up regarding the usage of the term knockouts in Impact Wrestling today? Have you seen anything recently on that?
I didn't see a lot. I did see some people, and they might even be people on our chat here, reacting to whatever the original comment is. I don't know if maybe Gail or somebody may have weighed in on it. I don't think that's an offensive term. I think it was like, obviously when they invented the division and called knockouts, it was just like TNA. It had a double meaning because knockouts because they're tough, but also they're good looking ladies.
And that's an old school term for a beautiful woman. Was what a knockout. Yeah.
But I don't think this is necessarily an offensive term. I guess people could be, but I really don't think it, because you're calling like anybody in that division, you're a knockout because you're tough. And I understand for that whole one, like wrestling's wrestling. It doesn't matter. Looks don't matter. But if you're a male, a female wrestler, if you're a manager, a look does go into it, to be honest. It's like being hired at other things where like you're not going to be an actor unless you have a certain look. Same thing. Like I don't think it's offensive. I think if people are looking for that, I think they might be looking for a term like diva. I think that was more of an offensive term for a division of female wrestlers. A knockout, I think, so at least to me, it seems like it could be more empowering than like a diva, because it's just saying you are pretty much eye candy.
Right. That, or you're just a bitch who wants everything handed to him.
Correct. One of the two. So, but I always using that, like, that's not me for decide. If there's women that are offended by that, then obviously voice it. If it is something like that, then I'm sure they'll address it at some point. But at least to me, I don't think so.
Oh, and we went out of our way to call Goldilocks the first knockout, like, the inaugural.
That's a term of endearment.
It is, and that was the biggest compliment we could have paid her, because of what she did on that show. She's in so many segments, interacting with everyone, and she took everything on the chin, literally. Whether it was, a flirtatious thing or getting kind of roughed around backstage. I mean,
crazy.
She was. I don't know how else to say it. She just, I'm tired. Fuck.
No, I agree. And I think it's what I like to think for our current knockouts. And I don't know if it was a story that someone was going to bring up in chat or not, but I saw the whole reaction I think Jordan Grace, right? She gave a reaction to Meltzer for his star ratings on Slammiversary.
Yeah, she's like, oh, maybe next time in Japan or something like that. Yeah.
Well, obviously, like I think any unbiased person watching that show knows that was one of the best women's matches of this year, for sure. Jordan Grace and Deonna Purrazzo. I like I said, I like just as anybody else. I would say if it's TNI, cue the music because I love the fake wrestling news. But this one is, and I think most of the roster is the same thing. It's like it's one guy, but yet he has a lot of power due to a lot of factors over years. Can pretty much put out stuff, and he gives a segment of a fan base that probably didn't even watch the match to then shit on something. And that's more of the negative than anything else that I don't like about it, because there are minions out there that will just follow that. But I think Jordan did it a great way because there's an obviously known bias for matches in Japan of that individual. And
and it's
I think the same people said if they were both signed to that little promotion on TNT and had this match, that would have had at least another star and a half. That would have easily been a 4-star match if it was on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, because there would have been more eyes on it and whatever.
Yeah. So like there's almost like a thing where just because of it being Impact, no match could meet a certain standard, which not fair to the performers. But once again, we do not recognize those ratings here. Well, at least I don't recognize those ratings.
It's one person's opinion. It really doesn't. It doesn't mean anything unless you personally revere this person's opinion as
correct.
The be all.
If you're doing that, you should not be doing that. You should not be doing that. You should use your own eyes.
Yeah, I mean that's like, oh well, I'm going to believe in my opinions based on his. No, don't ever do that. I mean, you can certainly agree and or disagree with them, but don't make your opinions just because one individual said something. Terrence here says, I didn't expect the Muff Bitten story, but it was golden. Oh, yeah, that was the one that was like, wow. And if you guys are wondering what it is, I'm not going to divulge into it. You're going to have to just go listen to it.
Let's just say whatever you're expecting, you're not expecting this.
No, and we weren't either. She completely floored us this one.
Yeah, the text I woke up to the next morning from people that watched the show. Let's just say they were colorful.
Oh my God! Like some of it, I'm actually gonna have to go back and listen to it. Like, did she actually say that? Holy shit, she did. All right, let's see here.
It gets crazy there on the throwback show.
And it was great as 5 minutes into it, she didn't realize that we were live. And we were like, oh yeah, by the way, we're live. And she was like, oh, it's like she thought that she could say something and we would like censor it or something. And we're like, no, this is like the fans are here for you.
But then I think that may have then made it go to another level knowing that was live.
Absolutely.
Take advantage of it being live.
made it even better.
Yeah, it's a must listen. Must listen to any fans out there.
Let me put it like this: if you guys thought that John E. Bravo, absolutely roasting our podcast live for an hour or whatever it was like the top thing, No, this made Johnny Bravo's roast look like kindergarten. Do you guys think that Impact needs to partner back up with New Japan again, or are you fine with how things are? I don't think they need to, but it will certainly open more doors to more opportunities for the roster, sending X amount of people overseas, bringing X amount of people back, a champion, an intercontinental champion, if you will, or even a what is it? A never open weight,
Yeah, never
whatever.
open weight.
I
Yeah.
lose track of a few because they have like what? It's 3 dozen
Yeah, they have the
championships.
juniors of everything. They never open weight. They got a lot of titles. But I agree.
Oh
I
my
think
goodness, yes.
I'm fine with. Obviously, there is a fractured past with old management, because they did it away a lot like early Ring of Honor did, where they would take one of the what they call the young boys over there, or somebody that's early in their career in New Japan, and they'd send them over to States to really get seasoned, working a schedule, working with the talent, and then send them back like more refined, like they did with Jay White and what they did with Evil. And that worked wonders in Ring of Honor. And I think they could do the same thing here in Impact, like they used to do in the early TNA days for sure. But I don't want to see it become what late Ring of Honor became, where they depended so much on that talent to get their own talent over that when New Japan guys weren't featured on their shows, no one cared anymore. So I would never want to become that. And like once again, if you're dealing a lot with New Japan, you're placating to the Meltzers of the world. So it's nice to have a relationship, just like they do with like a lot of other promotions, like the Noah stuff that they did with Eddie Edwards. That was great. Marufuji coming over, great. The stuff they've done with AAA for the Mexico shows. That's a great working relationship. I just don't want to see you become too heavy on one side to potentially hurt the other, which I think that's fine. I don't think they would get into something like that, but I think the whole Good Brothers that are going to work with both is a real good test in these waters.
That's a great door to start that dialogue. When they go over there and say, okay, perfect example. Say it gets to the point where travel starts opening up. It's not going to be anytime soon. Let's be real. They hear wind of travel opening up. So let's say conveniently Good Brothers become tag champs. Oh, now they're going to go show up surprise at some big date over in Japan, and they bring the Impact Tag Team Championships. There you go. Your doors open. You start the dialogue. And it just grows from there, I mean, honestly, it's like it's a completely different company. You can't say, oh, we're not going to do something because of something that happened 10 to 20 years ago. That's ridiculous. Completely different owners, completely different people you're dealing with across the way. No one that they would have talked to back then is around now. No one, zero. So, I think the possibility is absolutely there. Do they need it? No. But look at the fun we had with just the Noah relationship. Michael Elgin went over. Edwards went over, became their champ. It's something. It's something. And it can only get better from there. So, I hear TJP had a match in New Japan Pro Wrestling today or last night. Is that the Lions thing going on, or is that something different?
There was something advertised in the last couple of days that he was part of because he has been working. So, like when New Japan was running shows in the States last fall, he was on those shows.
Okay.
So he's kind of working that because I believe technically he's one of those pay per appearance guys with Impact, who they use often, but he can work there. Yeah.
Yeah, so but there's another link. There's
No, that would be good. Like if TJP, the Good Brothers, and because I'm sure there's definitely some guys like an Eddie Edwards. Who are we kidding? I'm sure half that roster wants a shot over in Japan.
Yeah. All right, Jaybone, do you think Motor City Machine Guns? One, because the adult audiences know who they are. And some people don't know who the North is. Not yet. No, I think it's just a decision they made to take the championships off the North, and that's one, and I think Bill will agree with me on this one in some ways. When you have tag champs and or any champion with that long of a reign, you got to be real careful after a certain amount of time how you take the championship off of them. It's got to be really like eye-opening or shocking or worthy to whoever's gonna be the next champion to hold that title.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It would have been tough because one of the things we were always talking about on TNI was, like, I know Trent was always like the Rascals. And down back in Philly when Trent was there and I was there, that made sense. The Rascals were hot. They were winning a lot. But right now, it doesn't make sense for the Rascals to win because it'd be like, you mean the team that had like 10 chances at this belt, now they won it? Well, why did they win it now? For the team that's the greatest tag team in history on a title reign? Now, they needed a new team that had to dethrone them, or they had to leave time for one of these existing teams to be built up to a level worthy of beating them. So
because
it was either wait another couple months or go new team. And Motor City Machine Guns, I think that's, and it's not just hot-shotting the Good Brothers or a different free agent tag team. It's a team that had history in TNA Impact. So that was like perfect. That's the team to dethrone the North.
It's someone that the North could not readily prepare for.
Correct. You're right. They had short notice. There's a reason. Like, it doesn't make them look weak at all. Like, you can have the North be still tag team force going forward.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it'll be very interesting in the next few episodes to see how Ethan and Josh react to this. Do they implode? Do they carry on? I'd like to see them implode and become singles, but that's me.
Yeah, I would like them to not implode, but to go, we need to get a different strategy, and that's Team Canada forming.
Oh, there you go.
Team Canada.
Not as much the North, but like a greaten their numbers ish kind of thing.
That's not going to happen again. Next time we get gold, we're not losing it. And then when you're in that thing, it could be Josh and another guy as a tag, Ethan and another guy as a tag. Maybe it's the North, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe they go after a singles belt.
There you go. Yeah, if you increase your numbers, your possibilities for storylines increase because you could do the three-way versus these three guys. So why are they putting them together? Oh, well, it's Team Canada. You gotta do something against Team Canada now because they're back. So when I agree with Bill, the New Japan Pro Wrestling will be a good partnership, but not yet. New Japan is good and it's getting better every week. Yeah, it's something that's gotta get there. There's I think what would help is if New Japan had that TV deal back, but Access TV didn't
they didn't, I guess, renew, like they took their out or whatever.
Yeah, like Women of Wrestling and New Japan lost their TV deals with Access, but hey, maybe they can get them back. I have no idea what.
Maybe this is the start. Who knows? Like maybe this whole thing with the Good Brothers, maybe there's more stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about. Like maybe all of a sudden, maybe when they start doing more stuff later this year, maybe we do see New Japan back on Access TV. But it's under more of a relationship. Because I think there were rumblings, if I'm not correct, that they may have been trying to leverage a partnership with New Japan into that TV deal back then. And that was one of the reasons it did not go through. Because, like, if we're going to pay for this, like, we got to see a return of some kind. Because technically, the company that owns the TV also owns the wrestling promotion. So are we just going to hurt ourselves with this promotion on this station?
Right,
it was unknown at the time. It was unknown. Now they get more of those questions answered. Maybe to their liking, they can work together more.
Yeah, and it's you got to create some kind of buzz to catch people. Like, oh, hey, what's going on over here?
Yeah.
It's like if you create that.
If New Japan became like an AEW co-promotion, would that have been to the benefit of Access TV or Impact Wrestling?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But I think these are the type of questions they had when they had their TV deal. Like, there's such an unknown there. Are we just going to promote another product? Like, that reminds me of the Destination America. Remember when they put Ring of Honor on right after it? Like,
yeah. Like, at first, I think for wrestling fans, because it was just more wrestling, it was fun.
Yeah. But
there was nothing that ever...
They feel that takes away from them. So it's
right.
It's
there was nothing. It was competition, because I remember there was actually stuff going back and forth between both brands. Like, someone from Ring of Honor said something that someone from Impact said, "Hey, get out of my yard," or it was like one of those things. It was Roderick Strong, and someone said something back and forth. It was hilarious. Like, hey, don't you quit pissing in my grass or something. I don't know. It was some crazy thing. All right. What else here? A couple more. We'll get out of here.
Get them in there. Get the good ones in there, guys.
Here we go. Question for Jaybone. How do you feel? Maybe Heath going for the X Division belt, dude, will be awesome there. That's different. I don't see him as a. I mean, it's all right. The X Division is no limits, of course. I see him more as going for the TNA or the actual Impact Championship somewhere down the line. That's what I want to see out of him, because obviously they took that chance on a guy like who's our WWE champ? I'm thinking of the guys from 3MB.
Oh, Jinder and Drew.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre. Thank you. Drew McIntyre, they took a chance on him. He's their WWE champ right now. Jinder, they took a chance on. I enjoyed him as champ. A lot of people didn't buy it because they felt it was only tied to the India deal at the time, which there's politics in there, and unfortunately, but it's business. But then why didn't they ever do anything with a guy like Heath and try to shake things up with him? This is the place where Heath really makes his worth shine, because you've been used to 10 plus years of this guy with the blonde flower with the orange bright red floppy hair, who was basically a joke, getting beaten by everyone with the exception of that small run as tag champs with Rhino. And then they started eating bologna sandwiches, no comment. So I'd like to see him as world champ someday, but I want to see the slow burn climb to get there. Because
I see what they're doing, and it makes sense, because his most mainstream appeal to an audience was his run with Rhino. So that you have Rhino there, that's a building storyline to start. And I'm sure it's maybe there'll be a tag team. Maybe they'll get a shot at the Guns. But I'm sure eventually that results in a little clash where then you can maybe work a small program with Heath versus Rhino. And then give obviously Heath that chance that I'm sure he came to Impact looking for, which is a more main event singles run. Which we'll see. We'll see how it goes over these next weeks and months. And because I know there's obviously doubters of Heath because of how he was used in WWE. But I think we're all willing to give him a kind of a clean slate. That's a little pun, a little clean slater for with Impact, and see how he does. It's just Heath, and like I said, I want Heath bar T-shirts. Heath bar T-shirts. Come again.
Heath's there you go.
But I'm willing, if he shows like what he did in that last promo he did for the E, I'm game to see what he can do.
Yeah, that was refreshing. That was great. Yeah, I don't know. Not a lot of people that watch me watch that, but I actually watched that because I was very curious to see what they were going to do with them. Who's your favorite free agent signing in Impact Wrestling in 2020? I'm not going to answer that because I got a feeling we've not been revealed everyone quite yet.
I don't think they've all been revealed yet.
Ask me that in a couple months. Ask me that in September.
Because honestly, I like a lot of them so far. I can't help but let my personal interests, obviously, I was very excited for the return of this guy.
Oh, absolutely! Yeah, I can't wait to see him.
EC3, I had to obviously pop for that, but I equally popped for the return of Eric Young, who I thought at the time that he left may have been the most valuable member on the roster because of everything he could do.
Yeah.
And then I popped huge for the machine guns too. Love the machine guns. So all those were great. And I think somebody mentioned earlier in the chat about Brian Myers. What do you see with how do you use Brian Myers? But I'm actually very excited for Brian Myers. Maybe that's because I think somebody else might join him. And I think that other guy that could join him could be the big, I think that's out of the free agents out there. And I like I said, partial EC3. But I think Matt Cardona is that unknown out there because he's such a social media phenomenon that he could possibly bring so many eyes to a product that needs them. And I think Myers has his history as a tag team wrestler on the Impact brand. I think that would be a natural fit for him. But I'd be interested to see. I've seen him work House of Hardcore. I think Myers can be solid as a singles guy. He hasn't had a ton of time to do promos. I think if I'm once again just like with Heath, I'm willing to give him more of a chance to see what he can do with him. But how it was him and Cardona as a team, I could see them jumping the Good Brothers, and me and Jaybone are big with the Too Sweet. Boom. The Good Brothers.
Always Too Sweet, yeah.
But I could, if they were added to that tag division, I think you would just then hands down have the best tag division in wrestling right now.
Yeah. And that kind of answers this one. Now I've heard them say, I don't remember which one said it. Excuse me. But one, if not both, said they're not going to be tagging together on the indies. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we know Brian Myers is there. Matt Cardona, I kind of give him like a 50-50 right now. Because I know a lot of people think that he's just going to automatically go hang with Cody, which, hey, fine. I'm not going to be upset about that. I'm not going to be like, oh, he went to AEW. No, I enjoy AEW. I want to see fresh faces.
It will be interesting. I don't see him making a decision to go just be fed to somebody else.
Yeah.
If he went somewhere, because I think he's been doing that his whole career, and I think he wants an opportunity a little selfishly. And if I were him, I'd do the same thing to shine on and I can understand those comments because, if I'm known for a tag team, I don't want to, but just to be his own guy somewhere. And I have a feeling if he went there, he might have his character and all, but where that's going to end up with him. He's going to be like every other flavor of the month and get fed to one of the boys.
To someone.
one of the elite boys. Somebody and then eventually he'll be mid-tier. He'll be a mid-tier guy. And if that's what he wants, then so be it. But if he wants a shot at the top of the card, I think Impact's the place for him.
Oh, yeah. It's something fresh, something unpredictable, something exciting. Some place that's going to give you the freedom to do something fresh and exciting is absolutely Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, because is there anybody that, any champion you look at Impact and be like, yo, you can't touch them? You're the main event picture, Eddie's the stability right now with the title, but he's doing an open challenge every week now with the world title. That's asking for a surprise or two. That's probably asking
Oh.
for a new signing to show up.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whether these guys are get signed to a long-term deal or not, I have no idea. And as far as Kurt Hawkins individually, look, anything is better than 150 plus losses on television, period. I don't
that's the
think
thing.
anybody would argue
I
with
think
that.
everybody here, and he's even saying it too. I think we all know Brian Myers has potential. I think you saw him as well during the global era, the global with Jeff Jarrett. He was on there. He was in Impact TNA for a bit. So you do have some history there where you could maybe even put him in like a TNA title storyline, depending on what happens with Moose and EC3. But yeah, no, I'm intrigued because obviously we just saw his teaser so far. So I'll be interested to see what they like. I'm guessing we'll get another Tuesday on the watch along on that other little channel on the Twitch. You can watch it live with us, and we'll see. We'll be seeing what happens on this Tuesday.
Absolutely. All right, one more, and we're gonna get out of here. I'm getting tired. These days are long. I think I covered that one. Do you think Rusev, Miro, will fit New Japan Pro Wrestling as a heavyweight? He absolutely would. Yeah. I don't watch a lot of New Japan. I'd love to see him get a refresher, in Impact. But I think we're all going to have to wait on that till a few months from now. Maybe in leading up to Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
Assuming he stays healthy over the course of the next month, because once you're healthy and you've got to quarantine for a few weeks, that'll leave it fresh and wide open for the next set of tapings.
Yeah.
There you go. The next set of tapings is actually going to lead right into Bound for Glory, because they're going to do 8 weeks over the course of 3 or 4 days. Yeah, it's going to be a big taping. Yeah. So this the rest of the summer is going to be hot, folks. Be ready. Just sit down and enjoy it. It's going to be crazy. Anything else? All right, I'm not seeing anything. So, all right. So thank you very much, Bill, for joining me here on Smash This Podcast. We like to do a little final thoughts thing over on TNI. Do you have any final thoughts on your experience today in GCW and leading into tomorrow, where you're going to go see Night 2?
Night 2. Yeah, it's actually a doubleheader tomorrow. I'm actually going to be heading down. There's a Beyond Wrestling show on the same site at 1 p.m. Eastern, which will be immediately followed by the GCW show. So I will be doing that doubleheader tomorrow.
Where is that?
That's Atlantic City on the pier. Same place, same site. So I'll be heading back down there for the same beach tomorrow. And actually Friday night I went to Jersey as well, a little bit up from there, but not too far. And it was a all women's show on Friday.
Nice.
with some what was it, Thunder Rosa's tag team partner, Holiday was on there.
Oh, she's great.
She's very good. She like, you could tell, and then there was some Christina Marie, who did some the PPW stuff with Impact. She's a Northeast, holds a lot of titles in indie promotions. But she was in some matches there. Deanna Steele, she worked at, I think, the Impact when they did Hazleton for their one night only. That was one of the local talents. So definitely saw some half veterans, half fresh faces. But busy weekend of live wrestling. But obviously looking forward to that matchup with Nick Gage's team versus Ricky Shane's team. Speaking of Impact, this is really what got me the most interested. One of the Rascals, Zach Wentz, is on the show tomorrow in what I think might be his first death match against Alex Colon, who had that death match today. That got pretty violent with AJ Gray. He's going against Zach Wentz in a death match tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Yeah.
Man.
I'll be like, oh no, Zach.
Yikes.
You gotta stay fit for the Rascals. Don't bleed all over yourself.
And he just got
obviously
married,
there's gonna be
so hopefully.
With Leo Rush, I assume tomorrow too. So we'll see what's going on with him.
Oh, I'm excited to see that. Yeah. I'm a big Leo Rush fan, or Lionel Green now, as he's called. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see exactly how he's booked, or how they. Were they going to say
my guess is
Lionel
he'll probably
Green?
cut a promo. He didn't talk. So my guess is he might cut a promo, like, because everyone was chanting Leo. So my guess he might come out and be like, Leo's dead, or something like that. And then go over his new name, something like that. At least that, and maybe a run-in. But that will probably then really confirm if he's maybe AEW bound with Joey, or if that's just Joey's kind of the face of GCW. So that might just be for that.
Yeah, he's like the biggest face, or most well-known.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best wrestler, but most well-known. But I mean, I've seen him have some really good matches, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him versus Mox. I saw him at All In versus Paige. That was really good. So yeah, well, I'm whatever's going to happen with Leo, it's going to happen over the course of the next few weeks. But I'm not killing my hopes on Impact yet, just because they put the little tease up there prior to Slammiversary. I think there's a good chance.
Yeah, there's obviously some names still out there. I think we probably get another, at least through a vignette on Tuesday. So I'll be interested to see what happens there. But then they just keep going, like keep riding this summer out with some entertaining action. So,
and honestly, no matter who you watch this summer in the realm of like AEW or Impact or whatever, there's going to be surprises galore, because they're going to be signing hot indie talent and or former WWE talent. So each week, for whatever brand, is bound to bring some kind of either really good match or some kind of surprise. So,
yeah, and you know what? Like I almost have more of an issue if one of these indie guys or a guy we knew from Impact or somewhere else signs maybe a long-term deal with AEW to get fed into the machine. But these indie guys like Eddie Kingston, who obviously had the Impact run, but it looks like it was an obvious one-off for him at AEW. But you know what? That got him some more credibility. That'll get him more signings. That'll get him more bookings. So I'm glad that's a in these times, that's a great way to give the rub to some of these guys out there. And maybe like we saw Ricky Stark, some of them will get signed. If not there, they'll get signed somewhere else, or they'll get more indie dates. So it's a win-win. So I approve at least of that.
Yeah. Thank you, Hakeem. Most appreciated. Yeah, we're 860 something.
They're smashing that like button. They're smashing that subscribe button.
Yeah, exactly. So on your way out, folks, you know what to do. Don't forget to smash that like button, smash that sub button, and ring that bell for notifications so that you know when more of my content hits your screen. We're out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow over on that other little podcast called TNI. I usually say that about my own, but it's the other one. It's the other shoe on the other foot now. So I'll just go back and forth with that little joke. Yeah, we'll be doing the Impact Plus Weekly, where we run down this past week's explosion, and that's always a lot of fun. Lots of different content on there, and then we kind of just open forum it up to the fans with any kind of Impact Wrestling discussion. So
yeah, a lot like how we ended this show. Like, just bring the questions.
And we might even have some GCW Night 2 discussion. I'll try to prod Trent into that.
And definitely with the Zach Wentz. Definitely Zach Wentz will have to be discussed.
And or Leo. I mean, I'm curious.
And Leo, because there's definitely some angles going on there. That's a great thing about wrestling right now, is it kind of does touch all aspects.
Yep. So, all right, we will see you guys tomorrow night, and then Monday we'll be back here for Monday night something. I don't know. We'll do something. So, all right, see you, folks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Much love.
Yep. See you.
We're
Stay
outta here.
safe.
Yes, stay safe. Wear that mask.